Hello, everyone. This piece is for people who support the path of diplomacy and sanctions when it comes to curbing the actions of a global bully. And this is both good and bad. So, Ukrainian intelligence is telling the world that Russia is now reviving the obsolete T-62 tanks due to equipment shortages in the course of its attempted invasion of Ukraine. So why is this good and bad? First of all, the reason it's good is that it shows that some of the sanctions work some of the time. Because the whole reason this is happening is because their more modern equipment relies on complicated parts and electronic components they now cannot get because of the sanctions, because a lot of its former suppliers ceased trade agreements and trade relations with Russia. So, that is good news. It's always a good thing when they can't find adequate ways to carry out their invasion with modern equipment. The reason it's bad news is because this shows you the extent of Russia's commitment to continue this war no matter what. There are now videos out there on social media showing Russia's soldiers moving around on donkeys and transporting ammo using donkeys, pulling carts. Now they're reviving these antiquated tanks. But they will not stop. They're still amassing troops. They're still threatening offensives. They're still continuing to pummel Ukrainian civilians. So this is a great illustration to show that in some cases, there's only so far the sanctions can go. If these people have to fight with sticks, they will still continue. They said so themselves. They said they will eat shit for Putin. And so this is just one aspect to show how relentless they are. Ukraine has delivered another surgically precise strike, this time against some warplanes in Russia. This one is pretty impressive, again, in terms of both precision and distance. So, what was the damage? 4 Su-34 aircraft. These are used routinely in the war in Ukraine to bomb people or to launch the glide bombs. We talked about the glide bombs. And at this point, there's lots of articles written about the glide bombs. So if you're interested how those works, they're terrible, terrible weapons. And, go read up on that. It's kind of chilling. So what is remarkable about this is not only the fact that this was precise, but also how far away this was. This was at a base outside of Volgograd, which is about 900 kilometers or 550 miles from the Ukrainian border. So, again, what they're doing is getting farther and farther into Russian territory to basically systematically destroy things like ammo storages, oil refineries, airplanes, and so on. So this is good news. Now, here's the thing. From the standpoint of Ukraine, can you imagine how difficult it is for Ukrainian government and Ukrainian military and Ukrainian people to resist the temptation to unleash this shit on Russian civilians. They understand that if that happens, they will lose all credibility, they will lose all support. It doesn't matter how many civilians Russia had killed in Ukraine. The moment Ukraine starts doing the same, they're going to lose all support because double standard. So imagine how frustrating it is to keep planning these surgically precise attacks to only touch Russia's military-industrial complex. All the while, well, Russia is continuing to murder Ukrainian civilians. Case in point, there's been a strike against Ukrainian city of Samar in the southeast. That's my old stomping ground. That's where I grew up, in the southeast of Ukraine. This is the second strike on the city in 3 days, and again, there was already a strong suspicion that there was going to be an offensive in the southern and southeastern direction. So at least 4 of the wounded in that attack were in critical condition. Also, there was a brutal strike against the Black Sea port of Odessa. At least 14 people were killed, 14 people were wounded, 2 people were killed. People in Kherson regions are being warned to prepare for extended periods without electricity because a Russian attack hit a critical energy facility. So this is exactly what I was talking about. This is all continuing while Ukraine is exercising remarkable restraint in terms of what it hits in Russia. And Putin has the goal to whine that their demands for peace are absolutely contradictory to Russia. Yes, Vladimir. Yes, they are completely contradictory. They want you to get the fuck out. Ukrainians want you to leave their country and never come back again. You have set Russian-Ukrainian relations back centuries. Centuries. There were already other historic instances when Russia betrayed Ukraine grossly, cruelly, brutally. And this is another one. So here's more on, this is on Associated Press website on that attack in Odessa. Oh, it looks like the wounded count has gone up from 14 to 17. Basically, that drone slammed into a residential building. The whole block. And killed a mother and daughter. Again, explain to me, how does that fit in with Russia's plans to denazify Ukraine and protect Russian-speaking population? Explain this to me. Why this building, this city block, was targeted to achieve those goals. Meanwhile, there's word about another highly precise attack by Ukraine to destroy some helicopters and the anti-aircraft missile system in Crimea. And again, military objects only. According to the UN Human Rights Monitoring Mission, the short-range drone attacks killed at least 395 civilians, injured 2,635 civilians between the start of the war and April 2025. Something tells me those numbers are low. And again, what about it, UN? Aren't you going to do something? More to come.